welcome to Spinning Dreams. My name is Laura, and this is where I chat about my knitting and sewing and spinning sometimes. So grab something warm to drink and I'll get into it. So I have a few finished objects and most of them are accessories. And the first one is a hat for myself, and it's the Simple Pleasures hat by Purl Soho is the pattern. And it's just a slouchy like beanie hat. And in the pattern, it calls for a 2x2 rib, but I've done a 1x1 rib. Particularly because I wanted to do the tubular cast on, which I did, but I didn't want to rearrange my stitches for a 2x2 rib. I was just lazy, I guess. I wasn't in the mood. So I think it turned out well though. It fits me nicely. I don't mind that it's a bit different. The yarn that I used is Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino and the Acorn colorway. And then, so for the brim, that's what you're seeing here, that color. And it's kind of a lovely gold color, I would say, nice for autumn. And the top here, the body of the hat here, the crown and everything, is held double with Rowan Kidsilk Haze. And that is in like a cream color. And I had a leftover ball, so I was using it up, but then I got partway through and I realized I needed another ball. So I got another ball, so now I have more left over of that Kidsilk Haze, but that's okay, I'll use it, it's beautiful. So I really like that it's kind of like a marled, heathery look with the contrast in the colors. And it fits really nicely. It has a beautiful halo. I've worn it a few times. So yeah, this pattern is really lovely. Simple go-to, I would say, for a beanie. Simple Pleasures hat by Purl Soho. The next finished object that I have is for my daughter, and she requested a hat, mittens, and a scarf knitted. And she's really into the color red right now. It's her favorite color. She says it multiple times a day, and if she could, every day she'd be head to toe in red. So I've got a Tuva hat, a Slouched Tuva hat for her here. This is her little hat. And this is by Turvid, I think. I've done this hat probably like 3 or 4 times now. It's really lovely because it's super simple design, but it is effective. Like, it has a really lovely pattern. It's kind of smushy. It can be like really slouchy and drapey, but I've done it a little bit more structured this time just so it'll stay on her head a bit better. And it has just these lovely yarn overs and it looks a bit bobbly. And the pattern isn't designed to have like a toddler size. So I looked at the project notes of others and noticed that others were casting around 84 stitches for a toddler. So that's what I did, and it fits her nicely. So yeah, this is her Slouched Tuva hat, and it's in this Cascade BFL is what I used, and it's a lovely red, like I would say a neutral red. It's really beautiful on her, and I think it would like look good on most, like a lot of people, this color red. So I'll link to it below. And yeah, so this is her hat, and then I also did some mittens for her. And this pattern is Tin Can Knits the World's Simplest Mittens or something like that, or yeah, I'll link to it, but it's something like that. And it's an excellent pattern, just the way it's designed, but also the way that it's written is for any weight of yarn in lots of sizes. So from child to adult. And so you just choose your yarn weight, and then you choose your size, and you can just follow the pattern through. So the pattern is actually quite short, but it's giving instructions for all weights and sizes. So anyway, I would highly recommend having it. It's a great pattern to have on hand, and these turned out really nicely. They fit her well, and they'll keep her nice and warm this winter. And I just think I'm glad that she loves red right now, because it's super cute in the winter, I think, to have red little accessories. So those are her two little that's her matching set so far. And in the works now, I also have a scarf, but it's actually the Sophie shawl by Petite knit. So here's the Cascade BFL. I'll just show you the yarn ball at the moment. It's like a little bit splitty unfortunately, I find that a little bit frustrating. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but it's not as enjoyable to knit with, I would say. But it's knitting up fine in terms of like these accessories are looking beautiful in it. So I might use it again. It's a really great budget option. So here is my progress on the Sophie shawl for my daughter. And I love this pattern by Petite Knit. I love all of Petite Knit's patterns so far. Done quite a few now, and they're just, yeah, they never let me down. This is got an I-cord edging, and the rest of it's in garter stitch. So really lovely, just rhythmic. You can watch TV or listen to an audiobook, I feel, while you're doing it. And it's kind of a long, narrow shawl without a lot of depth to it. So that's why it's a little bit more scarfy to me, even though this is technically, she has a scarf and a shawl pattern for the Sophie. So this is actually technically the shawl. So it's a bit bigger, I think, than the scarf is just kind of like a neckerchief. Whereas this is a bit like, can go over your shoulders and keep you a bit warmer. So yeah, so that's the progress I've made. And here's my little progress keeper here that I just got yesterday from my local yarn shop. It's a little snowdrop. It's so cute. And it reminds me of the winter to come and winter's past too, and Wales and England, where there's always been a lot of snowdrop flowers in the countryside where we've been. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that work in progress right now. And yeah, hopefully we'll be finished with it soon. So while we're on the red theme for my daughter, I thought I would bring out some sewing that I've recently done and finished, actually for Halloween. My daughter wanted to be a character from a book that she loves called The Starkeeper. I highly recommend that book if you have children or like a niece or grandchildren that are in the toddler range. And it's just a beautiful story about a little girl who finds a star and doesn't know how to be a starkeeper, how to keep the star and how to protect it or share it, or she's just trying to figure it out. And it's so sweet, and it ends up being a very lovely, heartwarming story about giving and making the world a better place. So I was delighted when my daughter said that she wanted to be the Starkeeper for Halloween, and this is the dress. I'll insert a photo of the Starkeeper so you can see the outfit that that she wears in the book, and this is the dress that I made for my daughter to match. And the pattern is by Little Lizard King. Again, this is my second time using a pattern from Little Lizard King, and again, great pattern, and it's called the Lillesand pattern. I'll link to it below, and it's from 12 months to 14 years is the size, and you can find it on Etsy. And yeah, there's not much to say about it. It's a super simple, like, just strappy kind of, yeah, shifty dress with, a gathered skirt. And here in the back it called for a button. The pattern called for a button, but I did a snap just to be easy. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this, but it was really great. And my daughter looks super cute in it, and I'll put a photo of her on Halloween wearing it, showing it off. She'll definitely get more wear out of this because it's a bit big, and I always try to sew a bit big so that I can really get the most out of these garments for her after all that effort. And the fabric is just a quilting cotton, a red quilting cotton, so that was budget again. Yeah, I played thread chicken with this one. I had literally this much thread left, and I was like, whoa, and I kept sewing faster and faster, as if that was going to help me to use up, just the right amount of thread or something. I was cracking myself up, but anyway, I had plenty of thread, and yeah, great pattern. I'd highly recommend the Lillesand by Little Lizard King. So now that we're into autumn and all things cold and cozy, I really wanted to cast on a cardigan for myself. So I did, and I chose the Felix cardigan. It's so hard for me to narrow down through, when I'm looking through all the patterns that I could possibly do, but I chose the Felix because it looks like my style and it looks like an everyday kind of cardigan. and it looks simple as well, and I wanted something simple. So this is my progress so far. I'm doing it in Lettlopi, which is a recommended yarn for this pattern, and I love Lettlopi as well, so I'm very happy to do it. I love knitting with Lettlopi. It's so beautiful and squishy. I did the Black Heather colorway, and I was originally going to use this yarn for another project, more like a color work, like a Lopi sweater, but I wasn't really in the mood for that kind of color work in my life right now. Not knitting. I am craving color work right now, knitting, and some beautiful, I don't know, I'm not sure yet, beautiful color work. But for this moment, like in my closet and what I want to wear is more like simple basics and like more neutral. Like I could wear it over and over and dress it up in different ways and get away with it without declaring a color work motif every time I wear it. So that's what I'm doing with this Felix. And right now I've finished the body just about. I'm just casting off in this sewn tubular bind off, which I'm not going to lie is not my favorite, but it's going to be effective. Like it's going to be great. I think. I'm hoping it's going to be worth it. I don't know what it is about sewn bind offs, but I mean, I once put a shawl on hold because I didn't want to do the bind off, and it sat for like 2 years waiting for me to just bind it off with a sewn bind off. And I just didn't want to do it, but I did it. And then I was like, why did I wait so long? So they're not that bad, but yeah, not my favorite. So then I'll get on to the sleeves, and then I'll do the button band. And then I just need to choose some buttons, and then I'll be ready to wear it. So I'm hoping this will be kind of like an outdoorsy cardigan when I'm out gardening or going on a walk with my family. So Lettlopi can be a bit scratchy, as we know. It's kind of like got these, the Lettlopi has like this undercoat and overcoat. I don't know what it's called. I am not a technical expert on Lettlopi, but it means that some of the fibers stick out. But I have heard, and I was discussing this with somebody recently, about how if you're in a cold climate, or if you put something in the freezer, for example, that has a lot of that scratchy tooth, it can kind of settle it and make it feel not so scratchy. So I'm hoping that if I wear this outside in the cold, it won't be as scratchy, but we'll find out. So yeah, that's my Felix cardigan. I'm not sure what else I want to say about this. I'm doing size 2, and I'm hoping, I think that will provide me enough ease as recommended with the pattern. And yeah, I can't wait to wear it. I can't wait to have a new finished cardigan garment for myself. So recently I've had the pleasure of joining in with my local yarn shop here in my area to join a knitting get together. Just 2 weeks now I've gone, and it's been so much fun. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this before. I've never known of any knitting groups in my area where I've lived previously, and maybe they were happening, but I just didn't know about it. So this has been such a fun experience, and just talking about knitting or just talking about life together while we're knitting, it's just very relaxing, and it's kind of like self-care for me time. Yeah. So when I was there recently, I saw someone knitting with this beautiful soft yarn. Actually, she'd already finished her project, and it was a hat, and it was super squishy, and I just wanted to touch that yarn again. It's so soft and lovely, and the yarn shop carries it, and it's this Snefnug by CaMaRose, which I've definitely heard of before, but I'd never had the pleasure or never gotten my hands on it before. So I immediately got up and browsed the shop for the colorways that they had, and this is the beautiful, I think it's Lysbeige. Yeah, Lysbeige. So it's baby alpaca, extra fine merino, and cotton. And it's the cotton tube is the core, and then the other fibers, the merino and alpaca, are blown into it. And I've knit with this core spun, I think it's called, yarn before. Actually, my Ripple bralette was made from that construction of yarn, and it's beautiful. It's so light and soft, but also durable. And I think that lends its own kind of structure, though alpaca can be quite heavy and drapey and stretch and lose its, like it doesn't have the same elasticity. Because this also has wool, I think it might bounce a bit more, and maybe because of this tube construction it might, yeah, I think it has the potential to be a really more potential for structure in the garment. So I'm hoping, speaking of garments, to knit this into a lovely cardigan for myself. So I got a sweater's quantity in this Lysbeige, and I'm currently looking through all of the options for what I could do with this. I can't decide. There's so many. I was thinking about maybe the home cardigan by Kadri is an option, or another Felix, if this Felix turns out lovely, as I'm expecting. There are a couple other options, but I need to narrow it down. But I have time. I'm going to finish my Felix first, my Felix cardigan, and then when that's off the needles, I will start my progress on this. And I think it's going to be a great, like, midwinter knit is what I'm hoping. That's what I'm aiming for, is like a midwinter knit where I'm done, maybe done with Christmas, Christmas presents and like knitting gifts for that, or if I'm going to, or any other projects that are holiday sensitive, time sensitive, and then get myself into this, dig myself into this cardigan project. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. It's so soft. I can't wait. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. Also at my local yarn shop yesterday when I was at the meetup, I found out that they have a spinning room. I think it's been there like the whole time I've ever visited there, like at least the last couple months, and I had no idea that it existed. But thankfully somebody sat down to spin next to me. One of the employees there sat down to spin while we were chatting, and she said something about the spinning room. I was like, can anybody go in the spinning room? And she was like, yes, please, enjoy, or whatever. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I went in there, and there's just fiber. It's a small room, but it has quite a bit of fiber and spinning wheels and some drop spindles. And I was completely tempted by the fiber. Beautiful fiber from New Zealand there that I really can't remember what the fiber company was called that I was eyeing, but if I do end up getting some fiber, I'll mention it next time. But I did pick up a drop spindle, and this is my second drop spindle in my life. I had a kind of a beginner's drop spindle before, but it's somewhere in the world. I'm not even sure. Maybe in Tanzania. I'm not sure. I don't have it with me, and I have been craving this for a while to spin on a drop spindle. It's so, it's a lot like knitting in that you're not on a machine like sewing or with a spinning wheel. They're a bit more machine-like. This is more like a tool in my mind anyway, that you can use with, the dexterity of your fingers to create something. And I think it's just so mesmerizing almost to see something spinning like that and drafting the fiber. Anyway, all I have to say, I got this beautiful one. It's a Kromski, and it's made in Poland. The whorl is a bit bigger than what I'm used to, but it has a lovely spin when I am spinning with it, and it's been quite a long minute since I spun with a drop spindle. It was like 2012 or something that I last did drop spinning. Maybe it was a bit later than that, but not much. So, but it is like riding a bicycle, it turns out. You just jump right back in, and I was spinning. So I've done a little bit here. You can see just a little bit of spinning last night. I just got right to it. And I'm using this Apple Creek Merinos fiber that I got last year at Flock and Fiber Festival in Oregon. And it is a lovely squishy roving, and it is dyed naturally, I think with pear wood is what I remember. I mean, it says pear here as well, but I think it's pear wood. And here's it's a little bit crumpled, but you can see the fiber company here. And I have been pre-drafting it a little bit, so I just kind of pre-draft. It's a lovely light pink color, neutral, beautiful. So I've been kind of pre-drafting and then Not parking my spindle so much, but every once in a while I've needed to. So mostly I've been kind of able to continuously spin. Although I have to say this fiber, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just maybe a little bit more rustic and maybe unfinished would be a good word. Like it's not like a very smoothly combed braid, for example. So that may be why I'm also stopping and starting a little bit more with this go. But all that to say, I'm having a really lovely time so far with that last night, and I hope to do some more today. I love that with drop spindle spinning, you can take this with you. Obviously an e-spinner would be like that too, but a little bit bigger, and you need a surface to spin with an e-spinner. But with this you can put it in your handbag or your project bag and bring it with you. So I like the portability and the accessibility therefore. So I'm hoping I can take this with me on the go, like when I go to somebody's house or something, and I would my knitting, and just bring my drop spindle with me. So yeah, that's been a lovely spinning adventure so far. And I haven't talked a lot about spinning on our wheel lately, and we haven't gotten it out recently. Mark has been quite busy with work, and so he hasn't had a lot of time for spinning on the wheel. And then I often don't get it out because I'm with my toddler. I feel a little bit like nervous that she's going to somehow hurt herself with the wheels spinning or like the bobbin prongs. I don't know. I just have like this vision of things going poorly, going horribly wrong. So I just tend not to get it out, but I would like to. And so yeah, I have been thinking about how I can get it out more, and also maybe an e-spinner in the future would be practical for me. So we'll see. Well, I'll keep you updated on the spinning front, but that's where I'm at right now at the drop spindle at least. So that's pretty much what I have going on right now. We have a couple birthdays coming up, and then there's Thanksgiving and the holidays. So I have quite a few things going on for those events, projects, but also just like hosting and get-togethers for holidays. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you have lots of projects that you're enjoying right now, and that you're enjoying the season, the autumn, and then the holiday season coming up. And I can't wait to share with you next time what I'm working on. Take care. Bye.